Hello everybody, this is Chris Bird or MonkeyDude1313 and this is episode 8 of Master Set Monday, where I will show you every single card in the XY Fates Collide Master Set, reverses included. However, before we jump into that, here's a little bit of history on what we've done recently. Last week, episode 7 of Master Set Monday was Team Rocket Vintage, where we had to dive into the Charizard binder. Everyone's got to love a set with a bunch of Charizards, right? The week before that, we did the newest Team Rocket set with Destined Rivals, where we own every card in the set. If you'd like to go check that out, I highly recommend it. There are a ton of beautiful modern cards in there. This previous week, for Wishlist Wednesday episode 7, Team Up, we have all three of these ones, the Lovebirds, Gengar Mimikyu, and Sabrina's Suggestion, but what card or cards are we missing? You'll just have to go check out our 99% complete collection to find out. What a wonderful modern or mid-era modern set. And before that, we had Wishlist Wednesday for Platinum Supreme Victors with some mid-era goodies. I love these cards, and I'm sure you will too. We're only missing one card from that set, so you'll have to go into that video and check it out. But without further ado, XY Fates Collide. This was requested directly by a commenter named Wacky on a previous video. So if you have a set you'd like to see in either Master Set Monday or Wishlist Wednesday, let me know. I might just do it. Fates Collide came out in 2016. We had already been collecting for a long time at this point. We bought 3 cases of this set, so we pulled just about everything on our own. But let's dive into it. Very few grass cards in this set, but that's because the set only has 120 some odd cards in it. Very, very small set compared to modern, and on the lower side of average for XY era sets. This set also featured break Pokemon, like this Delphox Break, which a lot of people think are very ugly. But for how unique they are, I quite like it. And you would play it sideways over the top of your card there, and that would be how you played it in the game itself. But I won't pull out every break, because we have the Evolutions here. Evolutions are much more interesting and exciting to a lot of people. This Glaceon EX is quite a wonderful card. I love how it's breaking out of the frame there. But very neat, and the full art of Glaceon that we'll see in a bit is even nicer. This set brought back ALAKAZAM. However, since Uri Geller's influence was still in play, he's only a basic, which means no Abra or Kadabra. But Kadabra did make a comeback recently, so you'll just have to go check out our 151 Master Set to see that one. Mega ALAKAZAM. I love the Megas. It seems like everyone loves the Megas, but I really, really, really like the Megas. I think it's very, very neat. How to play them in game was a little bit more difficult, but still cool. Regirock EX. This one confused me, because in the sets before and after this one, we didn't get a Registeel, and we didn't get a Regi-Ice EX. So they just broke up the trio and threw us a Regirock. Sure, okay, whatever. That's how it goes. But usually I like it when they keep the trios together. Next page, Zygarde EX Half Art. Very cool. We can see that they have, I think it's the 20, 50, and 100% forms, but there's no single cell Zygarde form here. We'll just have to wait for Legend ZA to get that one. Umbreon Half Art. Let me pull this guy out. Umbreon. One of the fan favorites right now. Everyone seems to love Umbreon. I mean, I can see why. It's a very appealing animal in a very stylish and unique way of portraying it. And it has a bunch of stunning artwork recently that really keeps people coming back to it. We recently picked up the Neo Discovery Moonbreon and the Evolving Skies Moonbreon Alt Art, so our wallets are a little bit lighter, but our sets are a little bit more complete. So you'll have to subscribe if you want to see those videos when they come out. Alright, Mega Altaria. The XY sets had fairy-type Pokemon, which have been in and out of existence in the Pokemon TCG, but during the XY era, I believe, is when they were introduced in the first place. So there is an Altaria EX in the set, but it is not a fairy type. But either way, Mega Altaria is it's very exciting to see how they make soft, cute Pokemon aggressive, because it's kind of a unexpected plot twist. Alright, Diancie, one of my lesser favorite legendaries, but it's Diancie, so there you go, Diancie. Kingdra, the lone dragon-type Pokemon in this set. As you can see, fairy ends here. Colorless starts there. So, it is the only dragon. Neat art, but I really like the full art better on this one. Although maybe the full art I'm thinking of is from Roaring Skies. Not sure. Either way, Lugia Break. I believe this is the most valuable break card in existence right now. Most break cards are sitting around $1 to $3. I think this one's up at like 13. But Lugia Break is quite cool. And like I was saying before, a lot of people view these as kind of gaudy and bad for the eyes, but you know, I quite like it. All right, moving on. Here's the Altaria that I had mentioned before. Big soft bird, very nice. And I won't pull out the Audino, but I will pull out the Mega Audino EX. Yet again, they gave another soft, cute Pokemon a Mega, which I think is really cool. Magical Symphony. Very neat. Alright, so quick aside, before we take the turn into the fancy stuff, is these Spirit Links, like this Alakazam Spirit Link, Altaria, Audino, etc., these were a way to Mega Evolve your Pokemon in the TCG without your turn ending. Before Phantom Forces, there were Megas, but if you wanted to Mega Evolve a Pokemon, that Pokemon, or your entire turn ended, which meant, do you attack this turn, or do you Mega Evolve your Pokemon this turn? Is the trade-off worth it? You know, you'd really have to try and figure that out on your own when deck making. But these Spirit Links came along, and now, as long as you have the trainer available, you can Mega Evolve without ending your turn. So, that's pretty neat. So, the first grand reveal is actually kind of a mini reveal, because we only got the two in the bottom right here. I will pull each of these guys out so we can get a nice, good look at the textures. But XY Full Arts had some amazing texture in my eyes, and I think it really added to the juice of the card. This is Glaceon, very, very nice card. I think it's $80-ish to $100-ish right now. But I mean, it's an evolution, it's a full art, and it's from 10 years ago. So, not too much surprise there. Next up is the Alakazam EX Full Art. And not only do I love this card for the color choice, but also, as you can see, the squarish, rounded square, like hypnosis pattern in the background is very cool on this card. So we actually pulled 4 of these guys and have been slowly trading them off as we go to card shows for other cards in our collection. But very exciting. I also forgot to mention at the beginning of the video, we are attempting to collect every single English Pokemon card that you could ever pull out of a pack. But we've also extended that to be every promo. And we've extended that to be a lot of other cards that you can't pull out of packs. So we're actually just pretty much going for all English Pokemon cards. So if you want to stay with us on that journey, not only can you check out all 20 of the videos we've already posted, but you can subscribe so that you can see when we post new ones every Monday and Wednesday. The grand reveal, which is 8 cards. Part of why this is a less exciting grand reveal than other modern sets is because there are only 11 full arts and secret rares combined in this set. Modern sets will have 30, 40, huge numbers, where you get the 2 pages of the illustration rares, and then you get the special illustration rares, the full arts, the gold cards, the gold items. This set kept it simple. The XY era generally had between 1 and 4 gold cards per set, so a very small number. And Black-White era before it actually had more secret rares than these ones do. So the average in Gen 5, I think, was 4 or 5 secrets per set. So 1 to 4. But less yapping. Let's pull out some of these gorgeous full art Mega Pokemon. So Mega Alakazam gets the 5 spoons so that he can more efficiently eat ice cream or soup, depending on how he's feeling that day. But I not only do I really like the Mega, but I really like the Zen posing. And then they have some of the spoons down here below the art. So that's very, very cool. I really like Mega Alakazam as a concept as well. I think it's neat. Plus, I don't think anyone was expecting Alakazam to get a Mega at the time. So, very, very cool. Next up, Full Art Umbreon. Carries the set. I know it's supposed to be an Alakazam set, but carries the set. Lovely art. It's very iconic. I mean, by iconic, what I mean is that there's not a lot of other Umbreon art that really looks quite like this. But very nice textures, very great colors. I really like the thick gold border along Umbreon's body. You know, it kind of looks like it's either in like golden moonlight or, you know, kind of unknown. But very, very cool card. Love this one. Next up, Genesect EX. What made me like this Genesect EX art was that I really liked the Plasma Blast Full Art Genesect EX. And so When I get to the Plasma Blast video, I'll definitely be showing off that one, but this guy looks quite cool. And they've done a lot of just like really static Genesect poses in the past, where he's just kind of like standing there ready to something. You know, is he going to attack? Is he going to take a picture? Is he just going to kind of chill out? You know, since he's like a robotic-ish kind of creature, you know, he can't be very organic and moving. So he gets like 3 poses and that's it. Alright, Mega Altaria EX. Lovely art on this one too. Like I was saying before, how do you make a cute fluffy Pokemon look angry? And in this case, you just open its mouth and have it yell at you. Something I mentioned in our very first Master Set Monday of XY Ancient Origins, which I'd highly recommend you check out, is the text on the English version of the Megas has the Japanese name for the attack. I don't know if it's always this attack, but at least the Japanese name for one of Altaria's attacks. In the Japanese version, on the text on the picture is actually the English word for the attack, but it's the English characters for the Japanese name of the attack. So for example, the Japanese Mega Charizard has Gurren Dive on there, which is not an attack name we've ever seen on an English card before. Alright, Kingdra EX. I was right, it was this set, not Roaring Skies. But I really like how they can take a static Pokemon like Kingdra and actually make it more interesting. I do wish that they were as posed as they were in the Aquapolis sets, and the really old ones where they just went wild with all the posing of Pokemon, but I think they still did a good job at making Kingdra look menacing here. Alright, Altaria EX. I love the colors on this one. The way the really light blue and the gold border works together, I think is really quite pleasing to look at. And so when I'm looking for cards to display on my desk for a little while to enjoy the artwork on, this is definitely up there. And the head here and the cloud wings, to a certain extent, really show off how the direction of the texture heavily play into how you can enjoy the card. But very, very nice. All right, the last card before the big deal. Team Rocket's Handiwork. I like this card a lot, but I like every card a lot. What am I saying? I do appreciate when they feature Team Rocket outside of Team Rocket sets, which ebbs and flows. Sometimes they do it a lot, sometimes not much. But this Team Rocket's Handiwork and Giovanni's Scheme and a few other cards in the XY era paid tribute to Team Rocket, which I think is quite neat indeed. So these guys are taking the shape of the letter R for Team Rocket. You know, you could have guessed that, but you didn't even need to tell you. All right, so the biggest card in the set, not by value, but by how cool I think it is this secret rare ALAKAZAM EX. So, ALAKAZAM, looking incredible right in the front. Did you notice the Umbreon? You probably did. I didn't the first time I was looking because I was too busy looking at his feet over here. But if you look closer as well, you also see a hidden Lugia there. Again, not super hidden, but there's so much attention drawn to the bright yellow of ALAKAZAM in the front that I've noticed a lot of people miss either the Umbreon, the Lugia, or sometimes even both. And you can even see the body of the Lugia extending back there behind ALAKAZAM. I really, really, really like the art on this card. I like it when they feature more than one Pokemon, and I especially like it when they feature more than one Pokemon that's not, like, guaranteed related to the Pokemon. So, for example, they have the Articuno Moltres Zapdos. Very cool card, but you kind of expect to see all 3 of those together. But this one, who would have thought you'd see ALAKAZAM, Lugia, and Umbreon together? You know, yeah, it was novel and unexpected, and then the way they pulled it off, I think, was incredible. So, I love this card. I'm so happy we pulled 2 of it. And it's actually surprisingly cheap at like 60 to 70 bucks. So if you like this card as much as I do, you should definitely go to a card show and find one. But beautiful, beautiful card. All right, so that is the end of the main set. But I did promise the entire set. So let's flip through the reverses, and then I can get you out of here. So the XY era reverse details is a difference from the Sun Moon ones, where the Sun Moon had the giant type symbol and then like nice rows of the energy symbol behind it. This set has just a bunch of very similarly sized type symbols that are all kind of overlapping with each other. Still great. I really like this this reverse pattern as well. All right, Moltres, looking sick. And turn to the next page here. We get to see some of the more like dark imagery of Omastar rather than Omastar just kind of chilling there looking at you. I love Spoink. Spoink is definitely up there for my favorite Pokemon. I have an entire binder dedicated to Spoink, which is cool. One electric Pokemon. So sad, Rotom. Alright. Some very cool stuff here. Featuring Lucario, of course. You can never have too much Lucario, right? Everyone loves that guy. Alright. Snorlax. One of my favorites as well. I didn't even realize until maybe 8 years ago that Snorlax was just kind of like a really big cat. I had no clue. I never saw that in Snorlax when I was playing the games, when I used the Poke Flute to wake him up on the bridge, none of that. But then my girlfriend comes along and says, oh, you know, I really like Snorlax because he's a big cat. I'm like, huh, very interesting. So, Snorlax is a big cat, confirmed. All right, I'm going to pull some special attention to this Aerodactyl here. I know I've gone on quite a bit, but this Aerodactyl art I think is really, really, really cool. Where he's perched up on top of a skyscraper looking down at the city. I think it's really neat when, even though the Pokemon is still the focal point, there's still a significant amount of background to appreciate where they go into heavy detail on it. So I think that art is very, very cool. Alright, so one or two more flips and then we're done with this guy. The Spirit Links, like I had mentioned, Reverse Lugia. This one's actually a decent amount of money. And I like the art on this Chaos Tower as well. Mostly because it's got the upside down and right side up versions of the world. I think that's really neat. Okay, so one last flip and then we're done with the set. Let me do that, okay. One last flip and there's the end. Got the strong energy to tie up the whole thing in a nice bow. So, thank you for the request for Fates Collide Master Set. Which of these cards are your favorite? And which cards would you like to see from our collection coming up? We already have this week's Wishlist Wednesday planned, but we do not have the further weeks planned. So leave your interests in the comments, and I'd be very, very happy to pull out some of our sets and give you a little bit of insight into what we have and why we like it. So, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys on Wednesday.